So I was just told that the world was going to explode when we brought Dustin here for our live stream interview here at Intelligent Cities. I'm really excited about that. Well, hopefully we'll have a good conversation before the world does explode. So just give us a quick context on who you are and what you're up to right now.
Sure. So I'm Dustin Haisler. I'm the Director of Government Innovation for Spigit. So I'm the only guy that has a title that used to be an oxymoron, but is no longer an oxymoron. So before that, I was the Assistant City Manager for the City of Manor, as well as the Chief Information Officer. And so what I do now is I go into cities and I help them develop strategies for innovation using bottoms-up approach and tapping their employees or their citizens to create organizational change.
Terrific. The Manor, Texas story, if you haven't ever heard about it, do some Googling. You may have been under a rock for some time. Incredibly interesting. So if you can give us in a nutshell, what happened to Manor when you were there? What did you do? Why has it been so interesting?
Right, so most organizations are faced with challenge, and instead of taking the box that we were given, we decided to look outside of the box and find creative ways to solve the challenges that we had. And part of that is, having 34 employees within the city of Manor is we have to look for a network of experts outside of our own. And so we looked at tapping the wisdom of the crowds.
So you didn't assume that among those 34 people, you had all the wisdom of the universe,
That's right.
So it had to be somewhere else as well.
Exactly. And we thought to look to the crowd because the crowd are the ones that experience the problems on a daily basis. So they can help shape, frame, and execute upon change for the problems that we face. And so by doing that, we created a network of about 26 different companies, as well as 3 universities globally, partnered with the Persuasive Technology Lab at Stanford to study organizational change using citizens to drive it.
Why doesn't that happen in every small Texas town?
So part of it's education and extracting the inherent business value of leveraging the crowd. I mean, it's scary when you imagine giving citizens a megaphone and saying, okay, tell us what we can do better. It's a very scary notion. And you have to structure that. You have to create rules of engagement and create a framework that they can operate within to drive change. And so you're going to have some holdouts within Texas cities and most cities, but it's about educating the government agencies on the business value and allowing the citizens to channel their voice into a very structured format where they can incite change.
So I would assume you would consider Manor, Texas to be a smarter city, an intelligent city of some form or another?
I would, because traditionally an intelligent city is thought of infrastructure focused. So it's all about the technology, how it relates to one another. We put different business intelligence layers on top of that. The problem is we often miss the social layer. We miss the people that can act as actors of the change as well as sensors to validate whether the change is actually taking place. And so, I would classify Manor as an intelligent city.
So you might have a better view into all the hyper-local innovation stuff that's been happening across the country or the globe because you've been connected to people through the course of having been in Manor and now being in the role that you have at Spigit. So what are the other places that people might not know that are doing such interesting things?
Yeah, I mean, so you've got, San Francisco, which is one that's been out there doing some really fascinating...
A lesser-known city.
A lesser-known city. Yeah. Well, you've got cities like De Leon, Texas, a city of 1,200 people that are leveraging social media. They're leveraging open innovation as a model. They're allowing people to participate and to voice their opinion. Harford County, Maryland, 233,000 people, crowdsourced their entire master plan. Their 2012 master plan and land use element plan they put online and said, give us your feedback on what we should include in this plan. And they've taken all of that, allowed the crowd to pre-vet it, and have made a draft off of that.
So what tool do they use for doing basically the crowd creation of their master plan?
So that would be Spigit.
Awesome. So what else can Spigit do that we might not know it can do?
Everything.
It can walk my dog. It's going to wash my car.
That's right. It can. So it's about really finding new ways to tap input from people. So whether it's looking for strategic business decisions and allowing the crowd to help shape those, solving problems, challenges, things to that extent, or even allowing the crowd to fund and to execute upon ideas and allowing them to form around them in a way that is really not possible through traditional mechanisms.
Interesting. I know the origin of Spigot, most of us thought of it as a voting platform, right? So you submit an idea, it's voted on. It sounds like there's a wiki component to it as well, or a content creation component.
That's right. And so it's actually not just about the voting, because voting's so easy to game, especially when everything's quantitative. It's the most popular idea wins. The problem is that the most popular idea is not always the best idea. So you have to take a qualitative approach to that as well. So Spigit's about structuring this approach and allowing the crowd to provide a pre-vetting to an agency. So someone submits an idea, it's vetted by their network of peers based on a series of different things, including their reputation and their influence on the site as a whole. And then from that, it may go to a next stage where it's reviewed quantitatively by a department, and it may have another feedback loop on there to the person that submitted the idea. But it's about instilling a process, a clear process, to take their idea from a conceptual form to something that is more actionable at the end of the funnel.
How new is that crowdfunding component? I was not aware you guys did that at all.
It's very new, and it's done through our social software development kit. So it's something that any developer can now leverage Spigit through the SDK.
So we're going to get you connected to the iStrategy Lab CTO because we have an interesting crowdfunding initiative we're going to do here in the district.
Fantastic.
So We'll talk about that off camera.
All right.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks. Yeah.
Appreciate it. Cheers.
Nice to meet you.